Thank you all for being here. It's been a great morning already. I mean, very exciting discussions and insights from all over the world. I mean, I think we can say that there is convening power here at DriftX for all the aspects of autonomous technology and smart mobility and intelligent infrastructure. I'm very happy that we have Shannon and Ali with us for the next almost 20 minutes or so to talk about this. I mean, maybe we can dive right in, and I'll start with you, Shannon. Can you tell us a little bit about what Jacobs is working on, particularly what's relevant to what's happening here today?
Yeah, certainly. So good afternoon. Great to be here with both of you. So at Jacobs, we're working to create a more connected and sustainable world through all of our solutions. And in particular, when it comes to smart cities and smart mobility, we're really looking at the intersection of how we can use data and analytics to drive things like transportation planning, where we might place electric vehicle chargers, how we look at air mobility and where to place some hubs and the like, as well as helping things. I look out here at the racetrack for Formula One, how we might better plan for traffic congestion and those sorts of events. And that's all comes to life on our Streetlight data platform, where we take mobility data and we use our transportation planning domain expertise to really help visualize and make smart plans. All of that to help create social equity and infrastructure, decarbonization and transportation, and the like.
So you're really at the heart of a lot of the planning and strategy that's going into any hub that wants to be at the forefront of this kind of technology, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And here in Abu Dhabi, it starts with creating the regulatory framework that allows connected autonomous vehicles to come together, and how we help co-create this partner ecosystem to really deliver smarter, more agile solutions. And I will say, it's an exciting opportunity, specifically here in Abu Dhabi. I'm not sure that there's anywhere else on earth that has the ability to really ideate, innovate, and really create this partnership ecosystem that then can be translated to so many other use cases around the world.
Absolutely. And the smart and autonomous vehicles industry cluster, for example, is offering the ability for companies to test technology, air, land, and sea across Abu Dhabi, which is a real sign of intent. And another sort of sign of intent, Ali, was that one of the biggest news stories of the year was Microsoft's $1.5 billion investment in G42, which is very much around AI. I assume that has the potential to impact the work that's being done on smart infrastructure and smart cities, correct?
Mustafa, thank you. Great question. Yeah, it's great to be here, and great to be with Shannon as well, and thank you for the organizers. If we take a step back, today we are living in an era of what we call the new AI economy. And we believe AI is a foundational technology. It's a foundational technology that is akin to electricity, akin to the railroad, akin to, massive logistical systems as well. And, in our attempt to really drive a fair and broad democratization of access to AI, we've developed a framework and a set of principles of how we develop the new AI economy. And underlying that is really energy and connectivity. And then you have the next layer is really chips, advanced chips and semiconductors. Then you've got data. Then you've got foundational models. Then you've got tooling, applications, distribution, developers, and users. And this is the new value stack of how the new AI economies are being built and driven. And our partnership with G42 is foundational to that, because we don't exist in a vacuum, and we need to extend and build these global infrastructures and partnerships with leading companies like G42.ai. And I want to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency Sheikh Tahnoon, to the CEO of G42, Mr. Peng, on the foresight and the strategic conviction to position UAE and Abu Dhabi in particular as a modern UAE hub that is investing in this modern infrastructure. Now, the partnership has 5 pillars. The first is, Microsoft investing in G42 as a sign of confidence in G42, in Abu Dhabi, in UAE, as a critical partner in advancing AI technologies. The second is building the deep talent pool in the country by establishing a $1 billion fund for developers to innovate on AI solutions and technologies. The third, the first of its kind, is what is a intergovernmental assurance agreement with the U.S. government and the UAE to drive safe, secure, reliable AI standards, and a deepening of the partnership between the UAE, the United States, and Microsoft and G42. The fourth is G42 migrating to the Azure cloud and establishing advanced AI solutions across a variety of different industries in energy, in healthcare, in a very sustainable manner. And the fourth is expanding outside of the Middle East into emerging markets and extending the reach of this foundational technology into Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa. And then the last really is around extremely focused use cases in key industries that are going to help drive innovation to a very, very different level. So we are very proud, very excited with this strategic partnership, and this is the beginning of a broader and a deeper partnership with the UAE and with G42 as a leading player to drive AI innovation.
Very much taking control of your destiny, essentially, in this transformative era.
In partnership with key players, and we are proud to say G42 and the UAE is a key strategic partner with Microsoft and the US government to drive AI innovation. So, to an extent, we are taking joint control of our destiny, but partnerships is foundational to everything we do.
In that spirit, I can ask both of you, and I'll start with Shannon, but for the audience gathered here today and anyone who's listening on screens, what is the key thing that they need to know about when it comes to intelligent infrastructure, smart cities, autonomous mobility? What is the one thing you would say keep your eye on over the next 6 months that will give them some insight to have control over their destinies?
Well, I think, first of all, I'll go back to what His Excellency started the day with. This is about transformative collaboration, probably like we've never seen it before. So public organizations working with the private sector to really co-create that ecosystem of solutions and partnership to drive things forward. And so it really is about building trusting relationships and partnerships, certainly in the next 6 months, with a common framework that we can build and co-create these solutions. I think the other really important thing, as we all know, the world is moving faster every single day. More data is being generated every single day, and there's more opportunities to leverage both of those, both the speed and the ability to drive data and data analytics. But it's about really being ruthless around those use cases and building a roadmap, which requires agility, flexibility in how we look at things and how we problem solve, and the ability to sort of pivot and sort of reorient to really ultimately get to a destination that we don't maybe fully have visualized at this point in time.
Is it kind of a leap of faith in a way?
I think it is, absolutely. A collective leap of faith together, which I think helps de-risk some of those inherent things that maybe we're used to. We've been around for maybe a little while. But it's probably a different way of looking at collaboration than we've ever seen in our generation.
Yeah, I would echo everything Shannon said. I think very well said. I would add, a couple of things. The first is, as I said, AI and technology is foundational, and public cloud infrastructure is foundational. You can't be building smart cities. You can't be achieving autonomy without these foundational technologies. It's like saying we're building the modern world without electricity. So this is what we mean by foundational technology. Now, that said, data governance, data privacy has to be established on a deep bond of trust with the citizens of the country, with the citizens of the society. And, having the right data governance structures, the data privacy, having the right, political will and political leadership. And I have to agree with, Shannon, the UAE is on the forefront. I mean, it is an exciting time to be here. AI is going to be very disruptive, but it's going to create an abundance that is unprecedented, in human society. And being able to forge these, deep strategic partnerships that are grounded with the proper regulatory frameworks that, foster that trust and foster that bond and lay the groundwork, just the way we're doing with the G42 partnership of all the different layers of the value stack. This is really the starting point of what, needs to happen to be able to realize the vision of a smart city that also is based on data, and that data has a feedback loop for continuous improvement. It has the ability to predict, it has the ability to fight diseases, improve life, and so on. And how you really work through the, that framework is going to be critical. You also, and I think Shannon also covered, the social inclusion part. That is fundamental because, in a modern world of smart cities, in a modern world of very advanced technologies, you want to bring along the rest of society. how do you make sure that you have the right frameworks, that it's not just the people who are extremely advanced in the ability to use these technologies are part of that, social fabric, are part of that, connective improvement. And lastly, foundational to what we are trying to do is to foster modern economic growth. And if you look at, how an economy grows, right, it's really the injection of capital, labor, and natural resources, and then the outputs and goods and services. And if you look at where AI is leading to in the next 10 years or so, every estimate we see is roughly between 10 to 30 trillion dollars of net economic value creation in the next decade. There is no other economic cycle that is going to drive that level of growth in global GDP. And the UAE is at the forefront of that, and investing in the right infrastructure, in the right regulatory framework, in the right vision that allows the realization of that is really what needs to happen immediately, and is happening. And how you accelerate that with partnerships like Jacobs and Microsoft, G42, the UAE government, is foundational towards that.
I mean, what about, if we go a bit deeper on this topic of people and how people are kept at the heart of everything that's happening. I mean, is there a risk, Shannon, that the technology or the opportunity kind of overwhelms the purpose of what this is all about, which is better well-being and prosperity for actual human beings?
Well, I think if you always keep the human at the center of everything that we're doing, that helps you really identify the path forward of what's going to be useful to achieve the goals that we're looking to do around social equity, decarbonization, connecting people in different ways. Invention just for the sake of invention is probably where you can get a little bit off the plot of what we're trying to accomplish. But I do think keeping people at the center of it, whether it's somebody operating a rail network, for example, or just how people navigate a city and what they require and how to better enable their world, I think that helps maybe eliminate some of the noise and really create those solutions that are going to be effective to achieve the goals that we're trying to create for our society.
I mean, it's integrating this smart, intelligent infrastructure into an already built environment, as opposed to kind of convincing people to use a new technology that they wouldn't have otherwise used. It's going to kind of immediately intrude on everyone's life.
Yeah.
I would echo what Shannon said. I think keeping the human at the center is core. But I also want to, I'm a techno optimist to an extent. I think today, when you look at foundational technologies like electricity, there are still parts of the world that actually do not have electricity. We tend to forget that last mile, that is enabling this modern world that we enjoy today, requires these foundational technologies. Now, doing it in a manner where you bring along society is very important. That's where leadership matters. The second, point is really that if you look at job creation, if you look at, the past 50 years, there's been more jobs, 60% of jobs, as per a lot of the economists, 60% of jobs are in titles and areas that have never existed in human history. In the past 18 months alone, you have new jobs we created in AI, like people haven't heard what a prompt engineer is 18 months ago. Complete new job creation is happening as a result of these technologies. So I tend to look at it from the optimistic side that, technology is going to create more abundance, but it has to be grounded and balanced in a fair, equitable framework of bringing society together. And that requires leadership. And we have the utmost confidence in the UAE and Abu Dhabi with the strategic visionary leadership that we have here to continue to move the country forward.
I mean, the risk seems to be that we don't move fast enough, but then we also move too fast. And so it kind of needs to be, a really well-managed transition, including the politicians managing it well.
Absolutely. That super well said. I mean, you need to be, you need to be quick, but not in a hurry. So I totally agree with you.
I mean, how do you deal with that, Shannon? The fact that the pace has to be just right, if you like.
Well, so first of all, creating a great vision of where you want to be long term is really important. Don't overthink all the finer details. That's going to be figured out along the way. So it's that think big and then find those ways to start within a framework of how we want to operate and what some of the core principles are. Get strong alignment, build relationships, trusting partnerships. I think help make sure that we're moving collectively together and not getting too far ahead of ourselves, and checking along the way if we're making, good progress together, or where we need to maybe pivot or make some movements. And that's been a lot of the discussion that we've had in the region. You have large centers of development that are moving very quickly, but maybe the public infrastructure hasn't quite caught up with what's being developed. And, those honest conversations about making sure that when you connect all these puzzle pieces together that it's going to work is a really important part of that. But it goes back to, we're humans, and when we trust and value and respect each other, great things come out of it, and we can make good progress in the right pace.
I think that's a good message to leave the conversation at. It's another open and honest conversation, which I'm grateful to both of you for. I'm grateful for all of you in the audience for joining us, but please join me in thanking both Shannon and Ali for their time and insights today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, thank you.